Welcome to the Quarter Life Funk podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Alice, and this is another short and sweet, bite-sized mini episode all about spirituality, mindset, and manifestation. Get ready to level in just 15 minutes. Hey Soul Fam, and welcome to another short and sweet episode, which is actually going to be a bonus episode today. I want this podcast to really resonate with you, and quite a few of you have been talking to me about this particular topic that I'm going to discuss today. And my intention for this podcast is to be much needed advice at the right time, and that is what I want to ensure that this podcast does for you. So if you have anything that you want to chat about, or for me to chat about in podcast episodes in the future, any topics you'd like me to discuss or explore, then just send me a DM and let me know what you want to chat about. In today's episode, we're going to be talking all about energy vampires. I've had my fair share of energy vampires, and I did a lot of research with this particular topic so we can delve into it today on the internet. And I think I've met most kind of types of energy vampires, and we're going to go through them and ways in which you can minimize the impact of an energy vampire. And the advice I'm going to give you is what I would do. Sometimes the advice that I'm going to give you is going to be a lot easier said than done as well. I don't know everyone's situations. I don't know where this energy vampire is placed in your life. So please take my advice, but don't see it as gospel, if you know what I mean. Okay? I just thought I'd put that out there. An energy vampire is basically somebody who drains you. It can even be a situation, but I'm going to talk about it in terms of people today. An energy vampire sucks your blood dry, basically. They take all the energy away. You know, you've had that encounter where you're really great that day, you're feeling really good spirits, and then you encounter this person that literally knocked the whole kind of energy out of you. It's like a balloon popping and it's all deflated. You feel like shit. You've taken on what they're feeling. And a lot of empaths tend to attract energy vampires, but you don't have to be an empath or resonate with being an empath. Gabriella from Soul Getters is coming onto my podcast episode next week and talks about all the signs that you could well be an empath. And I feel a lot of people that will listen to this information in general will naturally be an empath anyway. But like I said, you don't have to resonate with that particular label. But it's almost like an empath has this kind of very healing energy about themselves, and it's all that moth to the flame. I also want to be careful with the label of energy vampires itself as well, because sometimes you might have a friend who's having a really shit time. They need your comfort, they need your advice. And that's not to say that they're an energy vampire, because it probably might drain you in the process as you support your mate. An energy vampire is persistent with their behaviour. And when I was doing the types and I was reading the types, I realised, yes, I've met every single one of these. And I've also had this kind of realisation, humble realisation that, yeah, I've probably been one of these people as well in the past over time, especially the victim where, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm this, I'm that, with your friends and in the hope that they pick you up. I've definitely done that shit before, you know what I mean? So by understanding them a little bit more, it's a lot more helpful for us, I believe. So the 5 types of energy vampires that I found online are the narcissist, the drama queen or king, the criticizer, could be controller, okay, as well, the victim, and finally, this was a really interesting one. And this person is called the splitter. And I've actually experienced a splitter as well in the past. And I was like, oh, wow, I realise now their behaviour. So you might have some little profound moments of, I've experienced that in this podcast episode. So let's start off with the narcissist, because as you know, I'm a fucking expert in narcissism. And it actually annoyed me, the label did a little bit, because I want to stress that there is a difference between an actual narcissist who has been identified through psychological criteria and somebody who displays narcissistic attributes, traits. There is a difference. And I don't want people going around slapping labels on people as narcissists. Yes, they could be, but they could also have narcissistic tendencies. And let's be honest, anybody who's suffered narcissistic abuse, these people are a different beast to an energy vampire. I definitely won't be calling them an energy vampire, that's for sure. They are something else. So I just want you to be careful with that. And I'm going to talk about friendships I've had in the past with girls who've displayed narcissistic traits. So when I was in my late teens, and early 20s, that was what I was going for. I would try and fit in with popular girls or girls that were very well admired. They were always really charming at the start. You felt really special to be their friend. And then over time, they would treat you a little bit like shit. And if you took them off their pedestal or kind of threatened their kind of amazing status in any way, then they would soon not be so charming and they'd probably be quite manipulative. I think about Mean Girls, you know, the film The Mean Girls. I think about, what's her name? Regina George, is it? Like, she was quite similar to that. It was very much a me attitude, really kind of like self-importance. They thought they were the shit, basically. And yeah, I've encountered a few of these types in the past, and I just did nothing more than want to be accepted by them, want to be their friend, you know, and it was all external validation, the ego, me lacking self-worth, self-esteem, and just wanting to fit in, wanting to be validated. If I came across that person today, I would not accommodate them unless I had to, whether it was a working situation. I know some of you may be in situations where this may be a family member, or this may even be a working situation where your approach and tact has got to be a lot different. And it goes back to me saying, oh, easy said than done, because I know it's not going to be easy for you to implement these tactics. It's not going to be so easy to just, you know, when I give the advice, just cut them out of your life. It's not that easy. And I don't want you to take this advice as gospel. I want you to take the advice and feel what's right for you, and maybe encourage you to do a little bit more research about it. Because like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm just giving you my own views, okay? But if I had the choice and somebody who entered my life came in very charming, but then I could see the red flags, I would literally not tolerate this person. I would, you know, quickly retreat back, not accommodate them in my life. But that's because I'm 33 now. I'm getting a bit old as fuck. I ain't got time for that shit. My self-worth is, you know, definitely not needing any external validation from somebody else to be approved. So honestly, I wouldn't even give them any airtime. Now, if this person is not in your life by choice, and it's like a working situation, for example, then there is a little bit of advice that you can follow. Number one is kind of setting boundaries to the point that, yes, I know you're going to have to interact with them, have meetings with them, but maybe set boundaries if they try to come into your personal life, like they want to have dinner with you, even if they want to have lunch with you at work. Go into any meeting or any encounter and set the intentions, because we know how powerful intentions are, and even call upon your guides as well to really help to keep your energy high, to protect yourself. They even talk about visualizing a kind of pink bubble around yourself as you're protecting your energy. Also, after the situation, have a kind of energy cord cutting routine. So a really good one to do is visualize that person in front of you. Imagine a cord between you both, and imagine that like cord disintegrating. It's you basically saying, I'm not going to take on their energy. I'm not going to allow their energy to drain me. Okay. Or you can just set the intention that you are now going to just clear the energy from this person. Or you can imagine a giant pair of scissors coming in and cutting that cord between you, whatever works best for you. The next energy vampire that you may encounter is the drama queen. We've all had one. We've all woken up to texts like, oh my God, this has happened. And it's probably one of the most mundane situations that they've encountered, but they've over-egged it. And you end up feeling really chaotic for them. You end up taking on the energy that this is a really crazy situation, when actually in real life it isn't. We've all met those people. One piece of advice that I can give you to overcome anything with like drama queens or even victims, like the energy vampire, the victim who constantly says, I'm not good enough at this. I don't do this. I don't feel good enough. I feel this. I feel that way. And they're just really down upon themselves because they want you to pick them up. They want you to absorb your energy and you to take the energy of trying to boost them that ends up draining you. They want that situation. To overcome these two types of energy vampires, a good thing to do is kind of divert the conversation, or stop giving them the boost. Stop giving them the supply of what they need, and they'll soon go elsewhere. Another energy vampire that you can encounter, and I think these are probably really tough, especially in the working situation, is the criticizer. I'm sure we might have some family members as well, where anything you can do just gets really judged and criticised. When you've worked really hard on something, you're really proud of it, there's nothing worse than somebody passing criticism or being judgmental of it. When we see this persistent behaviour, we've got to come from the view of this person engages in this a lot and it's for them. They need to kind of feel validated by us. And this is because they want to think that their advice has really helped us. And there's nothing worse when you spend about 8 hours on a project and somebody comes in and picks up on the most littlest grammar mistake and doesn't even say what was good about it. It doesn't even do at least a shit sandwich. Like, at least we could have a shit sandwich from you. What was good, what was bad, what was good again. Layer it on. But no, this person who I feel is a particular weapon will come in and just completely judge all your hard work and sap your energy. With all energy vampires, we can always kind of reduce our time with them. And if they're really impacting us, the best piece of advice is basically cut them out of your life. But like I said, I know that's not really easy to do that. But one thing that we can do with criticizers is understand them and why they are the way they are and how they operate, the way they do. Because if we know their criticism is often misplaced, then it's not going to impact us that much. We're not going to be oversensitive to it because we understand the situation. So try and not get defensive. Try and not let it drain you. Understand who they are and why they are in that way. Finally, the last energy vampire that actually took me by surprise, and I look back and I've experienced this, is called the splitter. They are your best friend 1 minute and the next day they completely disregard you or kind of turn on you. And during my kind of late teens, early 20s, I had kind of these friendships that if I didn't do what they expected and I didn't know their expectations, they would kind of disregard me. If I didn't do kind of what they wanted, they kind of disregarded me. And it's almost a little bit verges into the narcissistic zone as well. So I found this article on Mind Body Green, which describes a splitter, and they talk about it in the sense of being in the workplace. I'll put it in the podcast notes, but they talk about it in the sense of, there could be 2 of you as part of a committee together or working towards a project. 1 minute they got your back with something and then you do something, it ticks them off and they go against you. And it's a little bit like an emotional roller coaster. Like me with a friendship, I felt like I was constantly walking on eggshells. And they talk about setting boundaries. For me, if that was a friend and looking back at my friendships, I would distance myself from those particular friendships because I don't want to be in that place. And we know how important energy is. We know how important our energy is to keeping our vibration good. We know it's important to manifesting. So, me in this place as Rachel at 33 years old knows and values her energy so much that I just won't put up with these things. If it is in the workplace, it could just be the case of sitting down, having a conversation about the fact that working together is really important to meet the kind of goals of the project and not to work against each other. Again, easier said than done. And we've got different situations at play, different variables that need to go into this. So please use your intuition, ask for help from your angels and guides, for inspiration, and tune into what feels right for you. Overall, the kind of strategies to cope with energy vampires include setting intentions to manage your energy, distancing yourself, changing conversations or no longer supplying them with what they want, doing the protective bubble or cord cutting ritual could be really valuable as well, and also setting those boundaries. Now, I encourage you, if you're feeling like this very much at the moment, to go and do more reading on it to really kind of understand what strategies you could create. Go and do some more like reading on boundary setting because we haven't got time to do that in the podcast today. Anyway, I hope this helps. And again, if you feel that this has helped you, please let me know. You can slide into my DMs and talk about the episode with me. I also love it when you leave me a review. I'm still offering free Oracle card pulls for anybody that leaves me a review. I really, really appreciate it, and all the kind words as well. I also love it when you share, you listen to the podcast episode on Instagram. It really does make my day. It really helps to raise my vibration. So thank you so, so much. I love and appreciate you all. Don't forget, I've just started a new Facebook group and we're going to be doing some little woo stuff next week with some full moon rituals live. So make sure you come in, join the community. We're currently talking about books that we love at the moment. There's some fantastic high vibe women in there. I'd love for you to be a part of it. You also get a free Oracle Angel card pull if you come into that group. Anyway, I'm running up to 15 minutes and that is it from me today. I hope you have an amazing day or evening wherever you are in the world. Bye bye.